management is happening around that model. Right? So this model that we created, that we know what is happening, authentication, where exactly it's happening at the software level, application level, mobile level. Authentication means what? Exchanging of message basically. It is also knowledge token biometrics. It's also credential. It's also sometimes curated or third party credential, right? So this is the core of authentication, right? And once you know this core, then you try to bring what are those regulatory standards, what are technical standards which are shaping all of this thing, right? Then you bring that together. So there are standards like this, like FIDO, then Web3, then Auth2, then EMV, then NIST, SP63P. Then we look at what are those technology which can be leveraged to help you with authentication, right? So TPM, for example, trusted platform module in chip could help you to store that message securely and use that for the secure communication basically. Security element in mobile I talked about. Biometric is already people are using it. Most of the mobile application we are using biometrics to authenticate yourself there. NFC, machine learning, modern cryptography, API-based, all of those technologies basically. Not only technology, the data also important because authentication nowadays is a behavioral authentication. It's a risk authentication. If you have risk signals available with you, your data about risk, then you can process that contextual data, location data. You know that like many times because you are in this location, bank may throw you put up a OTP, put up your PIN or put up a grid card, 3 kind of digit, or sometimes they will send you SMS. So those kind of location-based data that can be consumed. So all of those things would be, one part is technology, other part is the data that can consume to take that authentication decision basically. Then comes some of the requirements that it will satisfy, right? Security, trust, frictionless user experience, all of these requirements have to satisfy when you're talking about authentication, right? And then on top of that, you will go to how the authentication that exists now and where it will go from now. So this is another encapsulate that if you try to put things together, all the dimensions together, your ability to understand becomes better. Your ability to even develop something on it becomes better. My ability or DSCI ability to understand entire authentication authorization improved because of this exercise that we did at DSCI. So this is one way. But for this, you need to do a lot of understanding, you need to do a lot of study. But ability here is to put it together, right? For better comprehension, better understanding, better derivation, better mapping as well, basically, right? So this is one kind of a encapsulate. There's another one. This is we built something recently, which we published a report that management scheme of incident management. So this is another. There's a report which is on the DSCI website. So how do you put all those elements together? So this is one encapsulate. I can give another encapsulate. So this is a very interesting encapsulate. We try to put together compliance landscape. So what are the threat actors? Nation state, espionage, crime, insider, activism, supply chain disruption, geopolitics. What that leads to? What are the catalysts of the regulation? And what are national development, what are sectoral development, what are international development, and then try to put together under the context of last year the regulation from CERT in picture, right? So putting it together in a manner that you can comprehend this better, right? So that's one of the important way of browsing these complexities. So another. We try to put this together how network and security is converging. They're just examples, not to really, I don't want to get into the detail to explain this. But it's a network and security when it comes together. So there's an understanding framework that we develop for this. These are again yet another report of DSCI. We work with coordinator for this. So this is one way is to look at all those possible knowledge sources, try to bring them together, try to make sense out of it, create a structure which can make sense out of what you do, and use that for different purposes, basically. And you can make this sense based on what you are looking at. This is one way. There is another instrument some of you must be knowing, and must be using as well. Is doing mind maps, right? So a number of different mind map tools are available. So I use this, and there are many more. So there was this. Yesterday we had on day 119 we have this GBPR. GDPR, cross-border privacy rules. So this is all the discussions that are important from the cross-border data flow. All of them are put together, and this becomes a one board itself. Everything on the cross-border privacy rule and issues of privacy in the cross-border data flow, so all of them are put together. Our ability to understand the privacy in the context of data flow significantly improves with this kind of efforts. And this will be so useful. This will be useful even after 10 years if you do something like this. Even after 10 years, because this is something as reference you have created for yourself. So there are some methods like one method I talked about is creating encapsulate. Other method could be developing such kind of mind maps. So that could be used to, and then it also inspires you to probably build that basic habit of exploring more complex subject. Once you start building such kind of habit of putting it together using mind map, then you start searching some new complex subject that you can try to get hold of, understand, read, and try to create your own. And sometimes this kind of encapsulate or sometimes mind map, it also build the ability of creating your own out of it, basically. So if you start building like this, you start creating your own understanding, your own document, your own encapsulate, and the creation habit also improves quite significantly with that. So that's what complexity browsing, habit of complexity browsing teaches you and takes you with.
Yeah. Looking at it, see, one thought that strikes me is complexity is all pervasive in all factors of life. You do parenting, you do
every life,
politics, everywhere.
Yeah.
Here, when we are trying to see it together, it seems to suggest that if you see it in a two-dimensional method, it can be three-dimensional, four-dimensional, going in depth also. Possibly comprehension becomes easier.
So one is a dimension, right? That's very important. The multiple dimension shares thing. Other is seeing them together. Our tendency is we read one after another, and then we miss on seeing together and finding relation, connecting dots. So that's why the board like this is infinite board form. In this board, then this is one page. Seeing it on one page. For example, on table, you always have this A4, A3 or big sheets basically.
I was wondering if I was seeing it as a 3D movie,
something
like this backwards, something like this
forward as well, yeah. Some requires closer look, some requires bird's eye view, some requires background attention, some requires to go down to the depth basically. So such kind of there is a so complexity browsing also builds another important skill is cognitive flexibility. Because once you start understanding the complexity and the dimensions and interest and views and interest involved in that, you start then develop that flexibility that in this situation, in this kind of interest group, I probably need to talk about this. I probably need to discuss about this. I need to use this proposition, this language to mobilize it. So it also brings that cognitive flexibility as well.
Along with this, it has enhanced the ability and capability of the force to use much more options and together.
So there are various different methods, but putting it all together is very important. Putting in one page, try to putting it in one page is very important. The encapsulate I talked about in earlier slide, but this is also one way to do that. This is the problem with this, you can't present it to people. This is for you, but usually I avoid having mind map in my presentation because that is not presentable, right? But encapsulate like this, as we discussed, so they are more presentable versions. So encapsulation, these are more presentable versions. So there are different encapsulations. Our team generates so many of them in a year. Every report of DSCI you find one encapsulated. Most of the report that we develop have been out of one encapsulated cell. So there is a report that this is a report on a incident response that we published last year. This was a report on a SASE, which is a network and security convergence. And this one encapsulated, which is used for writing almost 70-80 pages on top of it. That's what it helps with. So again, yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting when you talk about it. It's not only what you do, right? It's also if you start understanding what is happening in a nuclear science, for example, what is happening in biology, what is happening in other fields. So that also helps quite. So once you start building, you start understanding complexity and start getting interested in the other area. Yeah. So relating means one interesting part is ki think about a subject. For example, if you have to think about security, remove the word security out of this. Apply all other thinking, and then you'll find it so easy to understand. So if you are doing good, is actually yesterday I was supposed to talk about humanities and security, humanities subjects and security. How history, learning history will help you understand security. How learning psychology help you manage security challenges better, or how psychology can help you to really manage some of the security challenges better, or how economics will help you in many aspects of you managing security. So somewhere in next first meet in probably in Mumbai, we'll do humanities and cybersecurity. So how do you leverage those humanities subjects understanding to solve the problems of security? So this is what I wanted to cover in this meeting. I think leaving you with this. I think we started with this, and this is why we need to think about complexity browsing. And with this, we conclude. Hope it was useful. So let's now move to the sessions. Thank you for joining today. Try to find some new subject every time to discuss. Maybe next time we pick up some new subject.